the last thing I want to get into this week. Unfortunately, it's something that, not necessarily that I thought would happen, because I didn't. But it doesn't shock me, and I've kind of been waiting for something like this to drop. For those of you who do not know what I'm talking about, those of you who have watched the channel, I have been pretty critical of Ja Morant since I started this podcast. And it started out, for those of you who just think I hate Ja Morant, I don't. It started out as, he's a really good player, but the Grizzlies kind of play better without him record-wise and win percentage-wise. I'm not necessarily sure why that is, but it's kind of happening, and it's happened 2 years in a row now, so there might be something to this. That's kind of how it started out. And as things have kind of started to develop, and you see the way the Grizzlies play, you see Ja Morant's antics and actions on the court, you see how he's just more worried about highlights than actual wins and actual plays that are positive to help his team win. You see how the Grizzlies act and treat their opponents and how dirty they play sometimes. You see Ja Morant getting sideline arguments with Shannon Sharpe, and Shannon Sharpe and Ja Morant's dad are getting into it in this whole thing. I personally saw a video where a woman was in a restaurant. She was a waitress at a restaurant, and Ja Morant was sitting at the table, and it was one of those situations where she kind of recognized him, but didn't know where she recognized him. I know you guys have pretty much all had an experience like that, where you're looking at somebody and you're like, I know that person from somewhere, I don't know where it is, and then you find out, oh, they were in this TV show, and now they're here at this restaurant. You're like, oh, yeah, that guy, or that girl, whatever. Yeah, like, all of us have had that experience, probably more than once in our lives. Even if it's just like, hey, they used to go to school with you when you were in 3rd grade. Oh, yeah. Like, even if it's just that. It was that kind of moment. And when the woman asked Ja Morant, where do I know you from? I know your face. I just can't place it. Who are you? When she asked him, who are you? He responded with, I'm Black Jesus. Like, why? What? No. Like, look, I don't believe in anybody calling themselves Jesus. I mean, there's only one Jesus as far as I'm concerned, and he died 2,000 years ago. But, for me, if you're gonna call yourself Black Jesus, you better be Michael Jordan, because I know Michael Jordan would call himself that, and other players have called him that. And again, I don't agree with anybody calling themselves Jesus. I think everybody should not call themselves that. But again, that's not my hill to die on. People are going to do whatever they want, and that's totally fine. So if you are going to do that, if you're going to call yourself Black Jesus, you better be Michael Jordan. Or you better be LeBron James. Like, you better be the best of a generation. You better be so darn good that people are afraid to not call you Black Jesus for fear of repercussions. That's what I think. And look, I've said it before. I will say it again. Ja Morant is a lot of fun to watch. Ja Morant is a very, very, very good and even more so talented basketball player. He has his highlights are some of the best I've seen in the last few years. He's a lot of fun. He's obviously got the respect of his team and his teammates. At least he did at one point. I haven't heard any of his teammates say anything bad about him, which is always a good thing. But, all the things I talked about. That little bit of an attitude where he's very cocky, obviously. How his team plays, how I'm not necessarily sure his team is better with him or without him. Jury's still out on that, really. We'll see. And then now he put out a video where he was obviously flashing a gun in a public place. I don't remember where the public place was off the top of my head. For some reason, Chuck E. Cheese is in my mind. I don't think it was Chuck E. Cheese. But I don't know why that's in my head. So I just wanted to say that to you guys so that you guys can all laugh at me in the comment section. Or heck, maybe it's true. I don't think it is, but for some reason that's in my head. But it was on a Snapchat or on an Instagram story or whatever it was that, and he had a gun. He was flashing it in public. And you just shouldn't do that. And it's one of those things where, like, you just sit there and go, come on, buddy. Like, you know better than that. Don't do that. That's just stupid. And, There's also a story where he may or may not have beaten the absolute crap out of a teenager at one point and just like beat him up and flashed a gun in his face and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, I'm so I'm a godly person, obviously, as you kind of probably would guess from my Jesus talk earlier. Um, I try to be a very understanding human being, and I always try and look at things from another person's perspective. And I tend to believe in people way more than I don't believe in people. I have to have been given a reason to not believe in somebody, to not believe in them most of the time. So for me, not that I didn't believe in Ja Morant, but the more and more this stuff kept happening, the more I kind of was like, not so sure about this guy's, morals and manners and everything like that. I think this whole basketball fame thing might be getting to his head a little bit. He's still super young. I think he's like 22. So, like, I get it. You're young, you're rich, you're famous, you're unbelievably talented, and everybody's telling you that. Like, there's gonna be an element of self-confidence there. Sure, that's great, but, there's a limit to it. Don't call yourself Black Jesus, especially if you haven't earned it. Nobody in my mind has earned it. Again, I'll say that for a third time. But if you're gonna do it, you might have wanted to, win an MVP or win a championship or make first team All NBA or anything that might prompt us to think that you are one of the best. In my mind. Not that he's not one of the best, because he's clearly one of the most talented players in the NBA. But as far as awards and accolades and actual written proof, he just doesn't have that yet. And that doesn't mean he's not going to. He just doesn't have that yet. So, the more and more those things keep happening, the more I sit and think, I don't know where this guy's head's at. I don't know where he stands morally right now. I'm not sure he's on the right side here. And so those two stories kind of happening within a week of one another, I sit here and I go, oh, like, come on, like, this is a guy who has the world. He has everything. I wish I could be Ja Morant. I do. I wish I could be anybody in the NBA. I love this. That's why I do this right here. Where guys, I know that you're seeing this and watching this, but from my perspective, I'm just talking into a camera and hoping and praying that 50 people, 100 people might watch someday. And he gets to play in front of thousands of people the game he loves every night. And not only that, he is so good at it, man. He's got the world at 22. I'm 25. Like, he's got everything. Don't throw it away. Ja, do not throw it away. I know you're never going to see this. But, dude, you've got the world. I hope that this is a lesson for you. I hope that this changes you. I don't know what you're going through. Like I said, I try to be an understanding person, and I try to look at things from other people's perspective. Ja, I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what's happening in your life. I don't know what has happened previously in your life to make these things happen. I don't know who you've surrounded yourself by. I don't know the neighborhood you've come from. I don't know the family or anything that you've come from. I don't know anything about you other than what I see on the court and other than the things, unfortunately, sometimes the good or the bad that I see about you off the court. I don't know you. But I know that I saw a video of you flashing a gun, and there's allegations of you beating up a teenager and flashing a gun at them. You have a fascination with flashing guns, I guess. But don't throw it all away, man. I wish more than anything in the world that I could be playing in the World Baseball Classic right now, or playing in the NBA, or playing in the NFL, or being in the WWE for those of you who are real nerds and real wrestling fans like me. Like, I would give anything to be that, but I can't because I'm fat, unathletic, and my back sucks. And other things suck about my body and my health. It's just never gonna happen for me. But it's happened for you. Dude, you made it. If you stay on the right track, you not only will win an MVP, you're going to win championships. You're going to win first team All NBA. You might break the record for highest paid player in the NBA, gosh darn it. if you stay on the right track. So I hope that this is all a lesson for Ja Morant. I hope that he learns. I hope that he takes this and he says, whoa, any minute now, this could all disappear. And trust me, dude, you don't want to have no future at 22. You don't. I know plenty of people that I grew up with that when they turned 16, they made choices. And they threw their life away. And at 22, they're living in a studio apartment, making no money. They barely can afford to keep that studio apartment. Or even worse, people sleeping in their cars. People are homeless at 20 years old, at 18 years old. People kicked out of their house at 14 years old, not able to make anything for themselves. This world is cruel and it is unforgiving. You have everything. Don't throw it away. Don't throw it away. Because good, talented people deserve opportunity. And Ja, I don't think you're a bad person. Nothing, even through everything that I've seen, I don't think you're a bad human. There are some basketball players, you guys probably know who I'm thinking of, that I think are bad humans. Ja is not one of those people. I don't think he's a bad human. I think he's young, a little bit immature, a little bit misguided, and he's just trying to do what he feels will make him fit in. But Ja, dude, you've got millions of fans all around the world. You don't need to fit in, dude. You need to be who you are. And hopefully who you are is who I think you are, which is a good person. I just hope that this is a lesson. I hope that he figures it out. And I know I'm jumping back and forth between talking to Ja Morant, talking to you guys, but I don't know how else to deliver this message. I wish that I wish that somebody could show him this. I really do. But I'm sure he'll never see it. But this is to somebody who cares about good players and cares about the NBA. Yes, I'm a Celtics fan. And yes, would I be sad if the Grizzlies destroyed the Celtics in the finals every year for the next 10 years? Of course I would. I'd be so freaking depressed you wouldn't have any idea. But I still, above all else, love watching good players do good things. And you are not just good, dude. You're fantastic. Please, don't let this ruin your career. I'm not saying that this one thing will ruin his career. It won't. But if you keep down this path, it will eventually come back to ruin your career. Don't let that happen, Ja. Just don't let that happen, man. I break all of our hearts.
Hey guys, me again. Thank you so much for watching one of my clips from the Lopes Goes Last podcast. These clips are so much fun to do. I absolutely love making them and I absolutely love doing them. And this podcast is my baby. So I really want this thing to grow and I really want it to succeed. So if you did like what you see, please subscribe. Also hit that bell notification so you never miss any one of my episodes or one of my clips like this one. And please do also like and share these videos with your friends and your family so that we can make this thing grow as fast as possible. And I wanted to thank you again so much. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video and have a great rest of your day.